So, welcome to the More Life podcast, and on episode 14, we're going to be doing a little bit of a fun one. Just random questions from the Diary of a CEO conversation cards. I'm sure this was all the questions that at the end of the episode the guest got asked, and then, yeah, it's all just been compiled into cards. So, we're going to run through a couple quick fire questions and see what the fuck comes of it. Let's go. So, Kale's away for a piss right now, so I'm going to do one myself. Fuck him. So, let's go. What is the hardest thing you've ever done in your life? This was asked by Liver King. So, hardest thing you've ever done in your life. I feel like it's quite hard to distinguish between what was the hardest thing. Do you know what I mean? Because when we think about the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, it's like what the hardest mentally, the hardest physically. Like, I've went through a few hard fucking bleep tests, but no, I'm kidding on. But I would say the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life was facing the reality of life, man. I went through a fucked up deep stage, and you go, Kyle, in my life where I was realizing, like, what's the point in life and fucking this and that, and we're all going to die anyway and this and that. That was a pretty fucking hard transition in my head, in my mind, in life when it came to facing the reality of fucking life. But the hardest thing I've ever done in my life surely fucking can't be that. I've not had that hard a life. If so, okay, what's the hardest thing you've ever done in your life? The hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah, it's gonna make us sound like we've not got a fucking. But we've not had that hard a fucking life, have we? Really? The hardest single thing. I know. I was gonna say it's like quite hard to even like answer that, because there will be some. There's things that are hard that I wouldn't want to say on this podcast. So, the hardest thing I've ever done in my life is fuck no. I'd say the hardest thing I've ever done in my life is probably like overcoming the fucking stress and anxiety and fucking limiting beliefs that I've had. Like, I think that was a transitional period over fucking years. That was probably the hardest thing I've done in my life, is detach myself from being a fucking stress controlled fucking, like, full of fear, full of doubt. I think that's the hardest thing I've done in life. It's not like a single thing. Like, it's not as if I've had to fucking pull a dead fucking baby out of a fucking car crash. It's not like anything crazy like that. But the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life is just that fucking, like, believing in myself to fucking. I know, because when you think of hardest thing, you think of like try to think of a single event. But yeah, I think I might agree. One of the hardest things I've done is the constant fucking mental battle against every cunt around us and the limiting beliefs, like us thinking that, yeah. That's the hardest thing, definitely. Like, coming from where we come from and having the beliefs that we've had, like, that is probably the hardest thing that we've done, is breaking the mold. Believing that shit, yeah. Yeah, proper. So breaking the mold is probably, yeah, one of the hardest things that I've done in my life as well, to be honest. Do I give me a couple? Just dishing them out. Yeah, I'll just fucking explain to the people what we're doing. Yeah. So level let's two. Let's do some deep shit. Was level 3? Is level 3 the hardest one? Level 3 is the deepest shit. So there's a level 3. Throw a couple over. Level 3 here. The person you cherish the most in life dies tomorrow. You have a 60-second phone call with them. What do you tell them? Fucking hell. They're going to die tomorrow, yeah. I would just be reinforcing how much I love them and how happy they make me and how grateful I am for them, and that everything's going to be okay, and we'll see each other soon. I think just making that person feel as peaceful and as calm as possible in that last minute would be so important. No. Alright, yeah, the 60-second. Yeah, but they die tomorrow. You have a 60-second phone call. It's a bit stupid though, because it's like, what, if you know they're dying tomorrow, you've got like a full day with them. Yeah, but hypothetically, I'd be just trying to comfort them as much as I can, reinforcing how much I fucking love and I'm grateful for them. 60-second phone call. Yeah, I just try and fucking reminisce with them, let them know that their life's been good, and really reinforce the fulfillment they've had in their life, so they die as less sad as they can. Just throw a couple over, mate. Don't be fucking shy. What do you mean, bro? What, like, actually frisbee them at you? Right, so when was the last time you cried and why? The last time I cried I fucking actually haven't cried in years, mate. That's actually mad to think about.
I think the last time I cried was when my wee dog died. Wee Mac.
Oh yeah.
Wee Mac. I cried. I think I was on shrooms and I was crying with mum. About fucking how my whole life when I was reflecting when I was on mushrooms, that she's never had full respect for herself. So I was like just overwhelmed, and I wasn't crying because I was sad, but it was like I was getting upset. Like fucking hell, like you actually don't fully fucking care about yourself. You don't fully love yourself, and that's literally her life had turned out the way it had. Obviously, she's got beautiful children that are doing well, etc. But her whole life had like been a result of not loving herself and caring about herself, and now she's found a bit more of that love, and she's fucking got her own business. She's self-employed, making more money than she has before. So I think that was the last time that I can remember that I actually like physically cried was on mushrooms talking to mum.
Yeah, I think it actually was when our little fucking dog Mac died, man. I've not cried actually in fucking actual years, mate. I don't know, I just don't see the fucking, like, to actually bring yourself to tears and start weeping like a fucking bitch. Like, I don't really.
Nah, I don't agree. It's a
I'm
bitch
not really
thing to
into that, mate. I'm a fucking grown man with hairs in my fucking nuts.
do. I don't agree. I don't agree.
Yeah, if you're a man that cries, you're a fucking pussy.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Absolute puss clart, and you need to go and see your. I'm kidding, man.
Nah, I think people can cry to relieve stress, man. It's either that or you fucking break both your hands on a wall. Like,
Go to the fucking gym. Or
yeah, no, but
do some meditation. You don't need to start weeping like a fucking baby.
Well, you're saying if mum dies, you wouldn't cry? Yeah, you would, mate.
Yeah, when someone dies, that's different. I'm saying.
No, it's not fucking different.
Unless you lose a fucking loved one. If you start crying over like the stress of your job or something.
If you're crying over something silly, then you could be called a pussy. But crying as a man is not a pussy, bro. Like, if you lose a family member, you're gonna cry.
Yeah, like there's times that I'm gonna cry in my life, but it's like the most traumatic, deep, fucking horrible shit. Next question from Steve Peters. If you could give one piece of advice to yourself at the start of your life, what would it have been? The start of your fucking life. That's sick.
It would be trust no one.
Trust no one.
Just trust no one. Nah, but in reality though, it would be
Network. From
start of
the
my life.
age of 1 year old, you actively fucking network with the intention to sell.
That's actually powerful.
I'd say at the start
your
of my
life.
fucking life, I would genuinely say like,
The one thing I would
maybe question everything, something like that.
the one thing I would say is be yourself. Like, genuinely, like, be authentic, be true to yourself and what you want to do. Genuinely, that would be the number one thing, because you're going to have a good life if you can be true to yourself. If you can be authentically you all the time. Like, a hippie that is true to themselves has peace in their life. A multi-millionaire that has fulfilled their passion of making money and becoming free financially, they are fucking fulfilled and happy in their life. They've got peace in their life. And the contrast in financial doesn't fucking matter. Both people have been true to themselves and been fully authentic. So generally, that is probably the one thing that I would say to myself is be yourself. And by the way, if you are yourself, you're going to get what you need to get out of life. Like, if you're trying to pretend to be someone else to try and get certain, that you're never going to get it. If you're yourself all the time, you're going to get what you need to get out of life.
Yeah, I'd say, just fuck the police, man. Next question. You have one last piece of work to do. What is that piece of work and why? Seth Rogen, you can tell that came from him.
No,
Like,
he got
fat
asked that.
fucking stoner. No, it wasn't. That was his question.
So if you had one last piece of work to do,
You have one last piece of work to do. What is that piece of work and why? It's a fucking baby's handwriting as well. I think we'll need to pass on that. What a stupid fat cunt.
get a good couple of good ones, man. Should
a
have prepared these
stupid
before we
fat
started.
cunt.
Saying them.
What is the unobvious thing that you struggle with?
The unobvious thing that I struggle with, I'd say it's probably still not being 100% fucking certain. Like, not having 100% certainty, because I feel like I do give across like I speak with conviction, I speak with certainty all the time, but it's still having that little bit of fucking, I wouldn't say it's doubt, but it's a little bit of like, fuck, like, should I be doing this, or do I deserve to do this, or is this where I should be? It's just that fucking, it's quite unobvious for me, I'd say. I don't think people would assume that I still have that.
Yeah. Like, unobvious as in, like, how you're perceived. Yeah, I would say the most obvious thing that I struggle with is probably anxiety. Like, I don't come across anxious in any way, but I definitely have a lot of, like, I've not really don't perceive it as anxiety anymore. It's more of like hyper analysis, like being hyper analytical over everything and overthinking a lot. But I just channel that into being productive with the over analysis and hyper analysis. So probably anxiety, but I've channeled that into just overthinking and then coming to conclusions quicker, as opposed to letting the anxiety overwhelm me. Do you know what I mean? I'll give you this over in a second, Kale. Who was the person who first believed in you?
Person that who was the person that first believed in me?
Myself.
No, it was. Generally, if it's not externally, if it's like who's the first ever person that believed in us, it was like each other. I would say, like me and you, like in each other. To be fair, we shared that belief. And around the same time, we started to have that belief as well. So I would say that. I'd say like mum, obviously, but like if we're talking about one individual person, it's either myself or you.
Yeah. When was the moment you were most afraid? Well, we used to have sleepovers at my grand's house, and she used to come in with like a white bed cover over, like shouting, saying she was a yeti. I used to be so scared. What?
What? Oh, when's it?
Who is someone you need to forgive and have not?
Who's someone I need to forgive and I have not yet? I feel like I've forgiven everyone for anything that someone's done bad for me, because I understand that if anyone's doing something negative to you, it's genuinely their problem and it's not yours. So I don't think I've got any grudges. I hold anything against anyone, to be honest. If I'm in a good headspace, I wouldn't say I hold any grudges.
Forgive, but don't forget. Fucking remember that shit. Next question, Kyle.
What is a personal legacy you want to leave for yourself and your children?
Personal legacy is just being a fucking top G. Just being a real just leading with authenticity. A personal what? Legacy.
Personal legacy.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really deep legacy too fucking much, because as much of a legacy as you leave, fast forward 100 years and no cunt will remember you at all. No one. Not even the family members that you tried to leave a legacy for. Like, as big as all these fucking celebrities are right now, you think in 50 years, there's generally people that your gran and granddad will fucking know that were the biggest stars in the fucking world, and we don't even have a clue their names, what they done for the industries that they were in, nothing. So, personal legacy, I'm not really arsed. I just want to make sure I lead the most fulfilling, authentic life so that my next generations, like my kids and my kids' kids, get to feed off that and then carry it on. So it probably will have leave a knock on effect for every other family member in our bloodline forever. But I don't really care about it being something that comes from me, as long as it's carried on.
Well, it gives me anxiety to think that any generation of mine going forward, your kids, Jude's kids, my kids, have like fake cunts in it, or like people that are victims. So if I'm leaving a personal legacy for me and my children, leaving that behind, it is to not be a victim, to be authentic, to not have like a belief system that limits you. Like, genuinely, when they say, what is it, hard times create fucking like strong men and easy times create weak men, like, we're going to essentially have like financially an easy time for our children growing up. But
what is it actually? It's hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. Bad times create strong men.
So it's like a mad cycle. But I don't want that cycle to ever be a thing ever again in our fucking generations going forward. Like, if there's one thing that we're going to die at some point, there's one thing that I can feel good about when I'm going to fucking my deathbed is people are going to fucking continue on being authentic, chasing their dreams, not having limiting beliefs in our family, in our generation. That's the legacy I want to leave behind, personally. If you were on your deathbed and could leave only one lesson behind, what would it be?
On my deathbed, one lesson behind. Two, what? Who? Obviously, just anyone that would listen.
Just like if you're to leave one lesson behind.
One lesson. Out of all the fucking lessons, as young as I am, what lessons have I learned from other kind of people as well? One lesson: be honest. Be honest. Generally, I feel like honesty is one of the things that can allow you to just lead and live such a fucking fulfilling, true life. If you're generally honest, there's no insecurity in the way you act. There's no fucking, obviously, dishonesty. And a lot of the problems in life come from insecurity and dishonesty. A lot of the actual fucking problems. So,
Yeah.
you're 100% honest, man. Like, there's a lot that will go right for you that wouldn't have if you weren't honest.
And I would say that a lesson I'd leave behind is you're going to get out of life what you should get out of life as long as you're authentic and true to yourself. So, like, as I said, like, environments will shape you. People around you will shape you, which is obviously your environment. What you consume will shape you. How you've grew up will completely shape who you are. But if you can find out who the fuck you are, personally who you are, and be authentic to that, I don't think you could go wrong. I think you're gonna get out of life what you fucking should. So I think that's the one lesson I'd leave behind. Do uncomfortable situations bring the best or worst out of you?
I would say the best. I feel like the best.
What's an uncomfortable situation that's brought the best out of you?
Well, performance-wise, there's been, like, for example, when we used to say, on a very small example, it was a big part of my life when I was younger, though. Like, I was playing pro youth football. When we were in those positions where we had to perform in a game or whatever, I was always, like, a bit more twitchy, a bit more fucking on it. I felt like when I was uncomfortable and stressed and nervous, the nerves I always got the better of and I always utilised those nerves and that discomfort to perform better. I feel like I performed quite well under pressure. Even like tests in college and things like that, big anatomy tests, pressure allowed me to really tap into that fucking hyper switched on part of my fucking brain. So yeah, I think things like that. Discomfort as well, being put under pressure. There's been so many times by clients or by meeting different people, I've been put on the spot and had to react there and then. It was so uncomfortable, but I feel like that pressure allowed me to really capitalize on. I'm talking shite now.
Well, I'd agree that I wouldn't say in every situation it's brought the best out of me. Like, I wouldn't say that at all. But I would say that if I'm in an uncomfortable situation,
How is it not though?
so I would say like sometimes it would probably bring like more of a kind of scared, fearful, doubty.
But then you're able to reflect and then fucking improve on that.
But that uncomfortable situation has brought out, I wouldn't say the best version of me to.
How is it not though?
Because it's not. The best version of me is fucking being able to articulate myself and speak clearly and speak confidently, speak with certainty. For example, again, on the Spain trip that I was just on there, every single person in the room done the same thing. Just because it's something we'd never ever do. We fucking had to stand up in front of everyone with a mic on, do a 90-second TED Talk that we didn't know we were going to do. That uncomfortable situation, I was stuttering. I wasn't clear on what I was saying. I wasn't as certain as I usually am. I wasn't as articulate as I usually am. But I think what it does do, that the positive side of that would be, is I don't have an ego. Like, I don't think that uncomfortable situations a lot of the time break down my ego and allow me to be more empathetic, allow me to be more understanding and less of a fucking prick. So I would
go as far as to say it does bring the best version of you out though. Because even in that moment in time, if you don't act as the best version of yourself, you have the power to reflect and improve on becoming the best version of yourself. Do you know what I mean? If you deep it like that, any uncomfortable position will actually bring the best version of you out.
Well, allow you to become the best version of yourself, but it won't in that moment bring the best version of yourself.
No, but bringing out the best version of yourself in the sense of like...
No, this means in that situation.
Does it say in the situation?
Well, that's what it says.
Does it say? Read it.
Do uncomfortable situations bring the best or worst out of you? That's what it exactly says.
Uncomfortable situations bring the best out of you, because if you're uncomfortable, you need to grow.
In 10 years' time, once you've reflected, it's talking about in the moment.
10 years? Right, nah.
Stop being a prick.
Uncomfortable situations bring the best out of you, for sure.
They can eventually, but in the moment, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, but at the moment, even if it didn't bring the best out of you, you being able to fucking get better from that will bring the best out of you.
I 100% agree. You cannot grow without being
I'm right.
uncomfortable. No, but in the moment, they don't
I'm
necessarily
right,
bring the best out of you. Do uncomfortable situations bring the best or worst out of you? In that moment, they don't always bring the best out of me, but being uncomfortable is, you need to do that to grow, like 100%. So
Did it say at the moment though? Nah, it just says that. The fucking context of when it brings the best out of you isn't there.
cool, mate. Right, well, I'd say they do bring the best out in you. If there was a percentage, there's more of a percentage that brings the best out in you, 100%.
Well, you can't grow without discomfort.
No, that's something that I said I learned about that Spain trip, was I need to become uncomfortable more. I've not felt
Yeah.
like that since college, and I grew a lot in college.
That's a good lesson, actually. At the start of your life, get uncomfortable.
I'd say so. Say if you're not uncomfortable, you're not going to grow. Like, there's no room to grow if you're not putting yourself in positions where you don't fucking want to be in it. Is there a time in your childhood when you could look back and think, this is the reason why I'm sitting here and why? This is the reason why I'm sitting here and why?
Say that again?
So, like, is there a time in your childhood when you could look back and think, this is the reason why I'm sitting here and why?
You couldn't really fucking
I could.
accredit one situation to the whole why you're here.
I'd say a big catalyst of why we think the way we think is seeing a very stressed out mum not being in control. And we thought, fucking fuck being like that. And we went the opposite direction. I'd say a big catalyst of that is that. Obviously seeing like, a big part of it was like seeing our fucking dad, for example, coming in at the house, coming to pick us up, but then not picking us up, and then mum and dad arguing. It's like, we don't really want to be those people that are arguing and stressed out and stuff. So I'd say, like, looking back in life, I can think of specific scenarios and specific situations in my life that I've thought, like, that's probably put in my head questions and like questions about things that if I didn't question them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Is it one thing or like
Just a time in your childhood.
a time? I don't know about a time, but I would say like not having a twin that you could bounce everything off of would have definitely, or having a twin would have definitely got me to where I am today, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, well, I'd say, like, even in school when we went to the fucking library and sat for fucking weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
To add to the discomfort though, imagine a little box. Inside that box is your comfort, your capacity of comfort. Every time you step outside of that box, and outside of that box is discomfort. Scrub that little fucking box out and make that box that a little bit bigger. The more you step out that comfort zone, the bigger your box of comfort gets. So then you learn to become comfortable in the uncomfortable, though. You learn to become comfortable in what was once uncomfortable. And the more you do that, the more you step into the discomfort and seek the discomfort, the more you become comfortable in those uncomfortable or what were once uncomfortable positions. So it's quite interesting. You do definitely to fucking seek discomfort your whole life if you want to grow. Or you will just stay in your little fucking box and you'll die. A little fucking statistic. Like we all will, to be honest, but you definitely want to fulfill your life in the best way possible, and you need to step into discomfort to be able to do that, okay?
Definitely. Can you describe what meaning wins to you? Fuck off. Can you describe can you describe what winning means to you? Meaning wins what?
What winning means to me?
Yeah.
Winning to me means succeeding in everything I plan to do. So like, because winning's such a subjective thing. I think winning for me is different from winning for Kyle or for anyone watching this. So I would say the meaning of winning to me is successfully completing all of the goals I set myself and all of the things that I want to achieve in life. That's winning to me. But then again, it's like, cool, that's winning. But right now, I'd say I'm winning right now because I'm in a good position in my life. I enjoy every day of my fucking life. I'm smashing the tasks and goals that I'm setting out on a daily basis. Because like we can think big or small. I'm winning right now. I'm a fucking winner. I'm doing exactly what I said I would, and I'm completing exactly what I said I would complete in a successful manner. So winning to me is just succeeding in what you're doing, innit?
Yeah, I'd say winning to me, and like, what does success look like? It is just becoming better than you were yesterday. As long as you're better than you were the day before, and it seems quite cliche, but genuinely, you're winning as long as you're moving in that direction.
Yeah.
You stop winning when you stop moving in that direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, think about a football game. You're winning if you score more goals than you concede. So if you are doing more good than bad, or winning more than you're losing, then you're fucking typically you're gonna be winning. But it's weird how subjective it is, because people might say they're not winning until they do a certain thing or whatever. But I feel like you want to feel like you're winning all the fucking time. I feel like you need to really feel like you're in a winning state all the time. And I'm a winner.
This is a good one. If you could speak with, call, see, or touch 4 people for the next 4 years, who would they be?
You answer it.
So you'd be one of the people. Okay, so speak with, call, see, or touch 4 people for the next 4 years.
Well, only 4 people.
Only 4 people. So like, you'd be one of them, obviously. Alisa would be another one. Who's the other 2 people? And this isn't mean. This is such a fucked up question, because people you don't say is gonna
4 people. What does that even mean?
like 4 people for the next 4 years. So like, for example, like, who, if you were to pick 4 people to be around, to be able to touch, see, speak to, call, phone, like, who would you have around you? 4 people. 4 people. Because it's funny, because we could say people that we deem valuable to us that they wouldn't pick us in these 4 people, because it's quite likely. So I'd say you and Alicia. That's 2 people straight away. But then, are you thinking then, like, who benefits me business wise?
Rahan, David, Stephen.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I was thinking like David, because
what 8-figure earners do I know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like 2 other people that would be really, really beneficial: Gio and David.
Gio, David, Stephen, Rahan. My boy Rahan remains anonymous,
and then me,
and then Kyle. There we go.
Yeah. So like, I'd probably have, like, obviously
Money
my girlfriend,
moves.
my twin brother, and then like 2 people that would help me like grow business wise. Obviously, I've got other close boys, but I wouldn't want to pick them for the next 4 years. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird fucking. That's a weird fucking question.
Nah, no, that's so fucked up.
That's a
I was
fucked up
joking
question.
when I said that. Half serious though. If you think about business, it's like
Yeah, because the next 4 years is so essential for our growth. But that's a weird fucking. That's a fucked
such
up
a
question.
weird, fucked up question.
Well, my girlfriend and my twin, like two non-negotiables that I need to have in my life.
Same.
What is your biggest insecurity?
My biggest insecurity is,
Apart from your wee willy.
besides how shrimp-like my cock is,
Shrimp like.
fuck.
Oh, God.
Biggest insecurity. It's probably how fucking gorgeous I am, because like just everyone always stares at me in that.
Stop, man.
Biggest insecurity is, I would say, biggest insecurity is probably fucking not doing the things I said I would. Biggest insecurity is fucking failing, man. Like, I've set so many big expectations and standards in my head that the most thing I'm most insecure about is not achieving what I'm setting myself out to achieve, I'd say.
Yeah. Biggest insecurity for me, like, we could talk about like how you look.
Your
and things
balls
like
are fucked looking.
that. How do you know that? He doesn't know what my balls look like.
We're
but-
twins, mate, so I'm just going off what mine look like.
Nah. My biggest insecurity.
Chocolate starfish.
My biggest insecurity, man. It's a hard one, because obviously, like, my calf muscles. I'd say my fucking calves. That's probably my biggest insecurity, to be fair. They're fucking
That's
ridiculous looking. But if we're not talking about looks wise, my biggest insecurity is,
see your breath, man.
nah, like, I would, because that's like all physical and shit. I would say genuinely it is, nah, I don't know. Calves. I'm gonna go calves.
My biggest insecurity is probably my accent, man. There's too many fucking comments about how I sound, man.
I'd say my voice, like my voice to an extent, is probably quite.
Prince have said I'm from Glasgow Uni. I've got a Glasgow Uni accent.
Nah,
They're lying face down saying this to me, and I just feel like jumping, elbow driving their fucking head through the floor.
I would say it's an
Glasgow Uni
insecurity
accent.
though.
Some
'cause,
cunt asked if I'm Russian.
bro, if we were insecure about our voices, bro, we wouldn't be doing a podcast. I don't think that's an issue, but Yeah, man. Maybe my height. To be honest, like, see, being 5'8", I'd like to be 6 foot. I'd say if I had an insecurity in terms of who I am, I want to be taller. But it's uncontrollable. Who gives a fuck anyway? If you're taller, you've got more fucking problems to fucking have, I think.
Nah, if
maybe.
we're being serious, my biggest insecurity genuinely is fucking failure. I'm insecure about not doing the shit I said I would, but that insecurity drives me to do it. So yeah, it's like what Cole said about the like running away from something kind of thing. Like I'm running away from fucking failure and not getting the life I want. So yeah.
Is that an insecurity you have right now, though? It's like,
Yeah, I act with the insecurity of like not my business not succeeding and my business fucking failing. Like, and I know it's not going to because of how logically valuable my business actually is, but there is that self doubt a lot of the time, and it's not even self doubt. It's like that emotional react. Oh fuck! I died.
sorry, guys.
It's that emotional reaction to stress, mate.
Yeah, I'd say,
Survival instinct, fight or flight. Always try to fucking avoid the stress, but logically, you need to fucking skull fuck the stress.
I think as well, right? A bigger insecurity, yeah, definitely insecurity for me is like, I know it does, and I've got so many examples of it doing it, but it's like, is what I'm doing enough to help this person change their life? Like, that is a bit of an insecurity that I have. And I know it's like bulletproof what I do if they follow what I do 100%, but there's just small things that I will have in terms of like, if a client's not communicating, it's not enough, etc. There'll be insecurities in that side of things as well.
But Alex Hormozy says, you need to build a stack of undeniable proof against the negativity and insecurity.
How do you take care of you?
By prioritizing time around me. So I'll make sure I've got time towards going to the gym, keeping my health in good state, whether it's physically and mentally. So giving myself time to be present, as I said earlier. Things like that. But yeah, how do I take care of you? I give myself the time I need to maintain the state and build the state of me physically and mentally.
I'd say, how do I take care of me? I'd say mentally, I take care of myself by ticking boxes, taking action, doing what I said I was going to do, getting a haircut regularly, making sure that my fucking beard and all that's kind of shaped up, the odd sunbed here or there. Physically, go to the gym, eat healthy foods, don't eat too much shite, move a good bit, at least one run a week, as well as training 6 days a week in the gym. So yeah, I'd say that's how I kind of take care of myself, man. And also as well, like having intentional downtime, smoking a bit of weed, chilling the fuck out, big parts of how I take care of myself, because without these bits of rest here and there, you can never really appreciate being really busy, because you're going to end up resenting it and being burnt out and not feeling good.
Final question for the viewers. Last little question to end it. End it because it's like fucking time's up.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. What? So what? What more questions?
A couple more questions I think we should go through. So, fuck that one off. What is the most controversial idea you believe that's within your industry that most people would disagree with? What's like a controversial idea? High Rocks is gay.
In my industry's like health and recovery and that.
What's a controversial idea that you believe in?
Controversial idea in my industry. Controversial idea in my industry. So no, you go first.
I'd say a controversial idea in the industry of like health and fitness, right? Because that's the kind of industry that I'm in, is that you can, let's actually, a controversial idea.
Because I believe in controversy when it comes to like controversial things going on in the media against the main kind of system and stuff, like all that controversy. But the controversy in that sense is actually just probably logic that's true. Controversial ideas in my industry. Any controversial ideas in my industry are typically fucking bullshit. So yeah, off the top of my head, I don't really know.
I'd say that like in my industry as well, it's like a controversial fucking side of things is about like, I don't know, is like fat shaming is a bad thing. I think fucking, to be honest, I think fat shaming is a really fucking good thing. If you're a big fucking fat cunt and someone comes to you and says, mate, you're fat as fuck, sort yourself out, I think fat shaming is a good thing because it can really give people the reality check they need. So everyone's always like, oh, you look beautiful or you look fine without those big bits of fat hanging out your t-shirt. Like, no, you don't. Like, the reason why people need to start, I don't say people need to start fat shaming and start hating on cunts that are fat, because you will have situations and things that will cause you to be fat. But a controversial idea I've got in my head is that fat shaming is a good thing. I think it's definitely something that can be beneficial to giving people the reality check that they need.
Yeah, cool. A controversial idea I've just kind of thought of, not the idea from any therapists that know what they're fucking talking about, but more the general audience and how they see my type of work. Controversial idea is you don't get stiffer as you age. When you get older, you don't just turn into a stiff fucking sack of shite. You get old, you get stiffer and less mobile because you start to do less as you age. Because you listen to, oh, you're getting a bit older now, you need to stay out the sun, be careful when you're moving, this and that. That is exactly why you get stiffer and more fucked when you age. It's nothing to do with the actual aging process. You can find 90-year-olds doing fucking 150 kilo deadlifts if you really fucking dig deep enough. So, controversial idea is, yeah, thinking that you just get stiffer and weaker and fucking and more fucked up as you age. It's more an exposure thing. You want to think about what you expose your body to, it can adapt to, and if what you don't expose it to, it can't adapt to. So, yeah, a controversial idea is that you can stay as mobile as you are in your 20s and your 90s if you expose your body to the right things.
One last question, I think it's a really good one to end it on. What's a common misconception people have about you, and how does it make you feel?
Common misconception is just from actual people that we used to go to school with that I've heard. Like we're up ourselves and all this shit. It's actually you think you're better than people and things like that. And it's so fucked up that those statements come from insecure fucking losers that genuinely only say that because they're jealous that people like us can do what we want and they're stuck in their little fucking bubble, rats. How do I feel about that? Logically, I don't really feel much other than sympathy for these fucking people. So I feel sad about that actually, but not for me, for the fucking people that say it. Because, like, do you know what I mean? If you think about what me and Kale try to push to the audience that we speak to and the people we're trying to help, it's all just value. It's all just trying to help. So it's like, if you're hating in any way against that, saying we think we know it all and we think we're this and that, it's like, go and have a wee look in the mirror and look at how fucking soft you look.
Yeah, well, I think a misconception that I have about me as well, like, in that sense, is that we're quite driven by, like, being millionaires and money. Like, to be honest, like, my purpose is to fucking help people change their life. Like, that is generally why we're even doing this podcast. And the conversation today hasn't been, I wouldn't say as valuable, but it's been a good insight in how we think, and obviously it's been quite entertaining. But the purpose that I've got in life is to help people change their life and, like, help the people around me live lives that they love and can feel fulfilled by. So yeah, a misconception is definitely that we're just doing it for money, or we think that we're going to be millionaires, or we are millionaires right now, etc. How does it make me feel? I couldn't give one singular fuck about it, to be honest. And when you said about the misconception about us thinking that we're better than everyone, I do think I'm better than every single person that would say anything negative about me. I do believe that I'm better than you, so I wouldn't say it's a misconception, but I don't think I wouldn't walk into a fucking university and say I'm better than him at maths, better than him at science, but based on the fact that I don't devote my time and energy to be negative about people most of the time like you would, I do believe that I'm better than you.
Yeah. You need to think you're the best. And it's not about being better than anyone, it's about being, you just think you're the fucking best.
You are, though.
You think you're better than anyone, but it's not directly comparing yourself. You just think you're the fucking best.
Well, who's better at being you than you?
Exactly.
No.
You're the best at you. So, yeah.
If you're the best at being you, you're better than every single other person, at least at one thing. So if you say I'm better than everyone, you've got a bit of truth to that, as long as you're referring to the fact that you're the best at being you, which you are.
On episode 16,
What?
we'll hopefully have a guest.
Yeah.
So we'll see you then.